Very good morning, students. In this class we will see something about measurements. Measurements is a hallmark of good science and also engineering. How much we know about something is often related to how well we can measure it. As famous physicist Lord Kelvin said, when you can measure something and express it in numbers, you know something about it. When you cannot measure it, you cannot express it in numbers, your knowledge of it is meager. These measurements has been there since ancient times. For example, we have had fairly accurate measurement of the size of the earth, moon and sun from 3rd century before Christ, BC. In ancient times, the body ruled when it came to measuring. Like, the length was measured using the foot and the span, and the width was measured using the finger, and the distance using the step. And all these were acceptable those days. A king of England during 14th century gave an important ruling. He declared that 1 inch would equal 3 grains of barley placed end to end. We have come a long way in measuring techniques in these days. In today's class, I would take you through the importance of measurements, followed by different methods of measurement, various categories into which instruments can be classified. Then I will explain about the various elements of measuring system, and lastly, performance characteristics. First, let us have a bird's view of measurements. And before that, tell me, what are the requirements of the measurements? Anybody? Okay, let me tell you. Measurements should be highly accurate, reliable and also consistent. And then next we will see what is measurement. Measurement has got plenty of definitions. Let us see a few of it. A measurement is an act of measuring something. In other words, measurement is a quantification of dimension such as length, weight, etc., usually expressed as numbers. Or else it can be defined like this. A measurement is a process of comparison between the unknown quantity and a standard one. Or else the measurement can be defined like it's a process of conversion of physical parameter into a meaningful numbers. The way in which we make measurements can be classified into 2 methods, that is direct method and indirect method. In direct method, the quantity is obtained directly by comparing it with the standard value. And it involves no mathematical calculations. Say for instance, the liquid in the tank, the level can be measured using measuring tape. And the length of the bar can be measured using vernier caliper. The temperature of the body can be measured using thermometer. And all these has predefined scale on it, or you call it as a predefined marking on it. Now coming to indirect method, there are a number of quantities that cannot be measured directly. For example, strain cannot be measured directly. There are a number of quantities that cannot be measured directly. For instance, we cannot measure the strain in the bar due to the applied force. With the help of the indirect measurement, we can measure the height of the pole without directly measuring it. In order to use this indirect method, we need to do some calculations. sometimes, not always. And the indirect method to measure the height of the pole can be like the unknown length can be measured using this formula. And another example to measure the for indirect measurement is venturimeter. Here the velocity is measured in terms of pressure. And next, coming to the classification of the instruments. The instruments can be classified based on its application. It can be classified into active, passive instrument, analog and digital instrument, null and deflection type of instruments, absolute and secondary type of instruments. Now coming to active passive instrument. An active instrument generates output directly in response to the change in the input. It does not require any external energy for it to operate. Whereas the passive ones requires electrical energy or an additional energy or an excitation voltage for it to operate. Example is pressure gauge for an active instrument. Here when the pressure is given and the pointer indicates the unknown pressure. It doesn't require any external energy. But in case of passive instrument, as you see in this picture, a level measurement device is shown here. The float is used as a level sensor. The other end of the float is connected to a potentiometer, and when the level of the liquid moves up and down, the float moves up and down along with the liquid. The other end of the float wipes over the arm of the potentiometer, and this potentiometer is excited with the input voltage, and the output voltage will be the indication of the level of the liquid. Coming to the next one is analog and digital type. Analog instruments varies in a continuous fashion and takes infinite number of value within the given range. And the instrument which gives the output in a discrete steps or takes the finite values in a given range is called digital instrument. Example, you all know that ammeters, voltmeters and all that, and the digital ones are the tachometer, multimeter, etc. The next one is null and deflection method. Null instruments attempts to maintain the deflection at zero by an opposing force. The next is deflection. The deflection type of instruments, the values of the quantity can be measured by measuring the net deflection of the pointer from its initial position. Example is the null balance. For the null type of instrument, here the pointer always maintains at zero. And the deflection type is the voltmeter. It's shown that it is shown in the figure. The next is the absolute and secondary type of instrument. Absolute instruments gives the magnitude of the quantity under measurement in terms of physical constant of an instrument. Example is galvanometer. The second one is the secondary instrument. The deflection gives the magnitude of the electrical quantity to be measured directly. Example is voltmeter and thermometers. Now coming to the general measuring system has the elements like primary sensing element, variable conversion element, variable manipulation element, data transmission element, data processing element, data presentation element. We will see the performance of each element. Now we shall see each element one by one. Each functional element is made up of a group of components which performs the required steps of measurements. First is the primary sensing element. The quantity under measurements makes it contact with the sensor. This is then followed by conversion of physical quantity into an electrical quantity, and this is done by primary sensing element. This variable conversion element, the output of the primary sensing element is converted into some suitable form while preserving the information of the original signal. The next is the variable manipulation element. This element actually it manipulates the signal. Manipulation here means only changing in the numerical value of the signal. Example could be amplification or using amplifier. Data transmission element is the next one. When the elements of an instrument are physically separated, it becomes necessary to transmit the data from one place to another. The element that performs this function is called data transmission element. The lastly, data processing element. It is optional. The next is the data presentation element. The information about the quantity under measurement has to be conveyed to the person handling the instrument. And this data presentation could be scale with a pointer like voltmeter and ammeter. It can be CRO, it can be TV, it can be camera, etc. As an example for measurement system, let us consider a simple Bourdon tube pressure gauge as shown in the picture. Well, we can see the generalized measuring system using an example. And let us see this simple Bourdon pressure gauge. This gauge offers a good example of a measuring system. In this case, the Bourdon tube, this is the Bourdon tube. This acts as a primary sensing element and a variable conversion element. Now, this senses the input quantity that is sent through this opening. On account of the pressure, the closed end of the Bourdon tube is displaced. Now the length of this Bourdon tube decreases, so it moves up. This pressure is converted into a small displacement. This closed end of the Bourdon tube is connected through mechanical linkage to a gear system that you can see inside this. And the gear arrangement amplifies this small displacement and makes the pointer to rotate the mechanical linkage, thus act as a data transmission element, while the gear arrangement acts as a data manipulation element, which converts the small movement into a large angular displacement. Right? This will be the best example for you to learn about the elements of generalized measurement system. When a measurement is made by an instrument, the value of the quantity is obtained. Then the following questions may arise. How accurate is your value? What is the amount of error in this measurement? If I measure it over and over again, whether I will get the same value or not? What is the change in the output with a change in the input? And so on. To answer this question, one has to know about the performance characteristic of any instrument. This performance characteristics will show how faithfully an instrument can measure. The performance characteristics can be defined in terms of static and dynamic characteristics. If the performance of an instrument is tested by giving an input not varying with time, we call it as static characteristics. On the other hand, a dynamic characteristics involves inputs varying with time. Now let us see the characteristics one by one. We'll see the static characteristics. The terms of the static characteristics are accuracy, precision, resolution, tolerance, static sensitivity, span, range, drift, linearity, repeatability, dead space, threshold, and zero drift. Now let us see the static characteristics one by one. First we will see accuracy. Accuracy is defined as closeness of the instrument output to the true value of the measured quantity. I can put it in this way. It is a closeness of the standard value. The measured value is how close the measured value is to the standard value is called accuracy. It could be expressed in terms of percentage also. Next is precision. A precision is defined as the ability of the instrument to reproduce the set of readings within the given range. For example, this cannot be accurate, but it will be close among itself, among the readings that is taken at different point of time, but it will not be closer to the standard value. The next is the resolution. A smallest change in the measured value which the instrument will respond is called resolution. The next is the sensitivity. You know, we use the sensitivity term in day-to-day life. It's high sensitive, low sensitive. What is that? Sensitivity is the change in the output to the change in the input. If the change in the input is less and the change in the output is more, then we call it as highly sensitive instrument. Next is the range and span. Range is defined as the reading between the minimum value and the maximum value of an instrument. For example, if you take a thermometer, you can tell the minimum reading is, suppose if it is 0 degree and the higher range is 100 degree, then the range is 0 to 100 degrees. If the minimum reading is minus 100 degrees and the maximum is 200 degrees, then you call it as the range as minus 100 degrees to 200 degrees. This you call it as range. The span of an instrument will be defined like this. It is the difference between the minimum and the maximum value. For example, if the minimum value is 0 and the maximum value is 100 degrees, the span is 100 degrees. Suppose the minimum value is minus 100 degrees and the maximum is 100 degrees, the span is 200 degrees. Now let us see linearity. It is the measure of deviation of any of the calibration point from the straight line. You know, it is the most desirable quality of an instrument. The next we will see what is repeatability. Repeatability is a measure of how well the output returns to the given value when the same precise input is applied several times. Repeatability is also one of the desired quality in an instrument. And you could see the formula here. The repeatability is equal to maximum minus minimum divided by the full scale into 100%. The next is the dead space. Dead space is defined as the range of different input values over which there is no change in the output value. No, even if you give the input, no, the instrument doesn't move. No, the range with which it doesn't move, we call it as dead space. Coming to dynamic characteristics, the terms, there are many, I could list only 3. Speed of response, measurement lag, and fidelity. This speed of response. In a measuring instrument, the speed of response or the responsiveness is defined as the rapidity with which an instrument responds to a change in the value of the quantity being measured. That all is the speed with which your input response is nothing but speed of response. Now this measurement lag is just like a dead space as we saw in static characteristics. Measurement lag refers to retardation or delay in response of an instrument to a change in the input signal. We call it as inertia sometimes. Coming to fidelity. Fidelity of an instrument is defined as a degree of closeness with which the system indicates or records the signal which is impressed upon it. In other words, it refers to the ability of the system to reproduce the output in the same form as the input. Now we have come to the end of this session. The reference book I would list, I would recommend is Doblin, Johnson, Process Control and Instrumentation, and Rangan and Sharma, Patronobis, and A.K. Sani. Another book is by Dominic Savio and Vimala Juliet. So these are the books that you can refer to, and I think I made it clear about the measurements. If there's any doubt, I'm here to answer. If there's no doubt, we'll move on to next session. Thank you.